Hello, I am Atul Mathur. Welcome to this online course Writing High Quality Standard Operating Procedures. I would like to introduce this course to you by asking following three key questions. What is the specific problem this course is trying to address or solve for you and your organization? Second, is that problem really important? And third, how are we going to solve it through this course? So we will look at these three questions. So let's look at question number 1. What's the problem that we are trying to solve through this course? SOPs are, of course, at the core of basic good manufacturing practice or GMP requirement for all pharmaceutical, biotech, and life sciences organizations. And most organizations have hundreds, if not thousands of SOPs. And these SOPs form one of the pillars of the organization's quality system. But paradoxically, many times SOPs themselves lack quality. Yes, the very document that is supposed to drive quality itself suffers from quality problems. So what kind of quality problems? When I conducted a pre-training survey among the participants from a global vaccine company, majority of the participants, 83% said SOPs were wordy. They had too much text. 67% said SOPs were complicated, difficult to understand. And 50% said SOPs were too long. Similar results were captured in another pre-training survey among the participants from the leading pharmaceutical companies in Singapore. 82% said SOPs had too much text. 59% said SOPs were complicated and too long. And 47% said the language used was not correct. And the story is no different when I conducted a similar survey for a laboratory at Singapore. So we can easily see what the common SOP bugs are. Not all, but many SOPs are wordy, too long, complicated, and confusing, instead of being clear, concise, and precise. So this is the problem that we are trying to solve through this course. Pharmaceutical, biotech, and life sciences organizations depend heavily on SOPs to pursue excellence in the quality of their products and services. But very often, SOPs themselves lack quality. These are often too long, wordy, complicated, and confusing. So the next question is this problem important? Why should an organization pay attention to the quality of its SOPs? Now, if SOPs are of low quality, how does it matter? To answer this question, we need to take a quick glance at the tragic history of GMP. Let's start in 1937, when sulfanilamide disaster struck the US. Sulfanilamide was a drug used to treat streptococcal infections. But until then, it was not available in liquid form. Then, in response to market demand, the company making this drug decided to manufacture it in liquid form, and they used diethylene glycol as the solvent for this new liquid drug. And before sending it to the market, the manufacturer tested the new liquid medicine. They called it elixir sulfonamide for flavor, appearance, and fragrance, but not for toxicity. It turned out that the new drug was toxic because of diethylene glycol and killed more than 100 patients in the United States in 1937. The public outcry caused by this incident and other similar incidents led to the passing of 1938 Federal Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act. A similar tragedy happened in Europe in 1960. The drug thalidomide was originally prescribed as a tranquilizer for countering sleeplessness in post-war US and Europe. But the doctors started prescribing it for an off-the-label purpose, and that was for alleviating morning sickness in pregnant women. And that's where the tragedy struck. As it was unsafe for the pregnant woman, many children born to these women were left with shorter or absence of limbs. This tragedy led to the first GMP regulations in the US in 1963. So it is the series of human tragedies like sulfonamide and thalidomide disasters that progressively led to the Good Manufacturing Practice, or GMP as we know it today. In 1978, GMP regulations became a law in the US. Now, GMP itself comprises of many different requirements, but one of the core requirements is SOPs. Organizations must have written procedures for key processes to ensure the quality and safety of their products and services. Now, if you are someone who writes SOPs or deals with SOPs and can connect the dots between SOPs and GMP and its tragic history, you can probably appreciate why the quality of SOPs matter. If the SOPs are of low quality, long, wordy, complicated, unclear, it leads to confusion and frustration among users. It creates inconsistencies in operations and non-compliances. And this in turn leads to quality and safety risks, near misses, audit observations, and maybe frauds too. From the point of view of cost alone, just think of the man hours spent on CAPAs, corrective and preventive actions, arising from low quality SOPs in the pharmaceutical and biotech companies. So the answer to the second question, is the problem of low quality SOPs important, is that low quality SOPs can lead to pretty severe negative consequences, from causing confusion and frustration among users to non-compliances and audit observations to finally lower productivity, greater quality and safety risks. So there is a fairly substantial negative cost if we ignore the quality of SOPs. And that brings us to the third and final question. How are we going to solve this problem? If the quality of SOPs is really important for the organization, how can you improve it? The solution lies in recognizing and filling a skills gap. So, what's this gap? The professionals who write SOPs are technically sound and know their stuff well. After all, they are the subject matter experts. But very often, they are not trained in writing skills. And so, the proficiency of their writing skills falls short of the depth of their technical knowledge, creating a skills gap. And as a result, despite having sound technical knowledge, they end up writing SOPs that are not clear, concise, and precise as they should be. And the reason for this gap is simple. Most people have not been trained in writing SOPs. They know the subject, but they don't know how to express it in writing as clearly, as concisely, as precisely as it should be. So the answer to the third question, how can one solve the problem of low quality SOPs, is clear. To write high quality SOPs, we need to fill the skills gap, the gap between the subject matter knowledge professionals already have and their writing skills. And that's precisely the objective of this course. The bottom line is this. After completing this course, you will know how to write clear, concise, correct, and compliant SOPs. That's our ultimate objective. So let's look at what this course contains and how it aims to fill this skills gap. Let me share with you first the learning objectives of this course. Second, the course outline. And third, the course materials. So there are 4 learning objectives of this course. It is important to understand what do we mean when we say high quality SOPs. So the first learning objective is to define high quality SOPs. Second learning objective is to create the right content structure of SOPs and also learn how to systematically write individual sections of an SOP like purpose, scope, responsibilities, instructions, calculations, etc. The third learning objective is to learn how to follow a systematic process for writing SOPs. And finally, the fourth learning objective is to learn and apply the best writing practices. So these are the 4 key learning objectives. Let's look at the course outline, which closely aligns with the learning objectives. This whole course is divided into 5 sections besides this introduction. Section 1 covers defining the high quality SOPs. Section 2 shows you how to create the right content structure for the SOPs and write the individual sections of an SOP. Section 3 shares the right process for creating high quality SOPs. Section 4 covers the best writing practices that you can straightaway apply to your SOPs. Section 4 in turn has 4 parts. Part 1 covers 7 best writing practices. Part 2 covers 8 finer writing details. Part 3 covers formatting of SOPs. And finally, Part 4 covers a very powerful strategy for reviewing and revising SOPs and raising their quality. And finally, Section 5 provides you additional resources on SOP writing. Overall, this course is trying to teach the participants that for producing high quality SOPs, we need to take care of 3 building blocks: right structure, right process, and best writing practices. When you create the right content structure for your SOPs, follow the right process for writing those SOPs, and apply the best writing practices, you end up creating high quality SOPs. So here is an overview of all the training materials included in this course for you. As shown on this slide, for the introduction and each of the first 3 sections, you have a video lecture which you must watch. Then you have 2 PDF downloads. First, notes and exercises, and second, PDF of the presentation slides as well. In addition, Section 2 includes a sample SOP template. Section 4, applying best writing practices, is in 4 parts. Again, each part includes a video lecture and PDFs of notes and exercises and the slides. And finally, Section 5 includes 3 additional resources for you. Number 1, WHO Guide on GMP. It includes sample SOPs. An excellent article titled Art of Writing and Implementing SOPs. And third, web resources on SOP writing. Now let's also discuss our learning approach. Our approach here is that to raise your overall competence in SOP writing, you need both knowledge and skills. You will acquire the knowledge by watching lectures and reading the handouts. But you can acquire the skills only by attempting the exercises prescribed in this course and also by applying new learnings in your actual work. So simply watching video lectures, I'm afraid, is not enough. So please do the exercises and apply the best practices in your work to really upgrade your SOP writing skills. One excellent step that I would strongly recommend is to keep 2 or 3 existing SOPs with you as specimens while going through this course. This will help you to understand the concepts better and also apply them. By the end of this course, you may be able to identify several areas of improvement in these SOPs, which will be a great outcome. So please keep 2 to 3 SOPs with you. Before we conclude introduction, let's ask an inconvenient but perhaps the most important question at this stage of the course. Why are you doing this course? If you have a strong why, you will surely succeed in getting the best out of this course. I would request you to pause here and answer the following 2 questions in the PDF handout titled Introduction, Notes and Exercises that you need to download if you have not done it so far. The first question is how the upgrading of your SOP writing skills will help you to do a better job for your department and your organization. And the second question is, personally, how upgrading of your SOP writing skills will help you in your career journey. So please answer these 2 questions and then proceed with the course. Finally, before we conclude, a little bit about myself. I am the author of the book Writing High Quality Standard Operating Procedures, which was published in 2017. I'm basically an engineer with over 25 years of experience, and my experience is mostly in doing projects for the pharmaceutical industry. I'm also a certified trainer with over 10 years of experience in training. And finally, I'm a technical writer who has written a range of technical documents like guidebooks, case studies, technical reports, specifications, and of course, procedures. I've also authored 2 books. I have conducted live workshops on this subject for the participants from the leading pharmaceutical and biotech companies, hospitals, laboratories, and also ISPE. And now it is really my pleasure to bring this course to you. To conclude, let's recap. We began this introduction by asking ourselves 3 key questions. What's the specific problem this course is trying to solve for you? And this problem is that pharmaceutical, biotech, and life sciences organizations depend heavily on SOPs to pursue excellence in the quality of their products and services. But very often, SOPs themselves lack quality. These documents are often too long, wordy, complicated, and confusing. And then we asked, why is this problem important? And we briefly covered the tragic history of GMP and saw that low quality SOPs can lead to pretty negative consequences in terms of productivity, quality, and safety risks for an organization. And finally, we asked, how are we going to solve this problem of low quality SOPs? And the solution lies in filling the skills gap between the subject matter knowledge and the ability to express that knowledge in a clear and concise manner. And then we looked at the learning objectives of this course, we looked at the course outline, and we looked at the course materials. So let's conclude here. I wish you all the best. And let's move to section 1 of this course, which is defining high quality SOPs. See you again.